What's going on, guys? If you're watching this, we're going to go over RicoCap AI alerts, how I make sense of them, and some of the new features that have been going on here that I didn't really get to explain. So let's get to explaining that and how I capitalize off this and how you all can as well with me. So let's get into it. First thing I want to get into is the opening explosion. Now, I haven't really talked about this channel too much, and I know a lot of you have seen it. But one thing that this really helps out here is this, all this tells us is for SPY, QQ, IWM, our indexes, how are they moving in that first hour, right? And so Friday was a perfect, right? June 26th, Friday was the perfect example how Q, IWM, and SPY all got the alert of calls moving and in the right direction, right? So looking at this real quick, QQ, it's saying opening explosion. So that's where you're gonna see opening explosion, play this. So it's gonna tell you the contract and it's telling you what time it is and how it's ripping. QQ is ripping over $4 at open, clean tape, trend is up. Pretty much all this is gonna be telling you is 90% or higher directional, no chop, meaning the move that we're looking at is moving and the contracts are moving. This right here scans the options, the option chain, and it tells you that yes, the options are moving with the move. So you are going to make money off of this. There's nothing worse than seeing a move happen in the contracts and not move with the move. I think that's a big red flag. And of course you end up pretty much losing on something like that. So I wanted to fix that kind of failed breakout kind of trap that could happen. And this really helps. So one of the first things was QQ, explosion there, right? It had, a clean target of 712, and it got alerted at 708. So let's go look at what happened with QQ at open there. And you can see QQ, this is the hourly candle that I'm on. Pretty good move at the open there. Good dip and then explosion. 712 was right here at our demand or at our supply, right? First target, it ended up going to 714, 713, next zone up. So of course you would have made money. It called it out at 708, which is a beautiful move right there off my strategy, off that level, zone to zone, beautiful. So again, definitely a good play right there at open. Next one, IWM. We ended up playing IWM and made money off of this. It suggested to 299. It was rocketing. It was up $1.85. Trend is up 93% directional, no chop. And it was a clean move. 298 area was the target as these things were moving. Not bad at all. Let's go look at IWM. And we know that this ended up hitting 300. This was a clean move and a name I was actually watching to play. And we did play it. So, I ended up calling it out around right here, 298. Once we broke above that 297 zone, 296. Beautiful zone to zone, straight to the next move up. Almost 300 in that, same candle, ended up hitting 300 midday there. Those calls were moving really well. Again, a good way to make money. Beautiful move. And the next one, SPY, of course. SPY was ripping over $4 there. Trend is up, 93% directional, no chop. 733 would be the target, and it was 732 was the call out. I guess this was moving pretty heavily, and it did. 732 was the call out. So as we broke above that zone, 733, 734 was the next zone up. Again, this ended up hitting 736 on the high of day, so you definitely could be making money there. But on that hourly, really good explosion. So that's what I just wanted to go over on that first channel is the opening explosion. Which way SPY, QQ, and IWM are moving. This is a good way to help you with that, right? So let's get into IWM, or let's get into RicoCap AI actual alerts here and how we can make money on this. Now, one of the first things I want to go over here is, right at open, what's going to happen, right? So right at open, what it's going to be kind of giving you is, a lot of updates, right? So right before open, it's going to give you GEX context, right? It's going to tell you first, any type of morning brief swing, right? If you're shorting QQ or if it's in some type of swings, a lot of them at the end of the day are going to give you the update of the swing trades, of course. But the start of the day, right? The very start is going to be the SPY GEX or QQX. It's going to just give you, hey, it's positive, possible chop mean revert likely. Again, this is 5 minutes before open, so this is just data from the previous session. It's going to give it to you 10 minutes right after open, the actual here. And they are, of course, going to let you know right at open which way it's going to be going. Perfect tool to know that, where support is 727, where any type of resistance. And the same thing for Q, any type of resistance, any type of support. Things were very pinned at open there as we kind of dropped, and then buyer stepped in a little bit after. So again, this really helped to let you know that, that opening kind of selling pressure. You see these wicks right here at open. That was, that first, 30 minutes where we saw that, maybe faked out a lot of people, but not us, because we knew that, a lot of support was here and that they're going to pin it here and they're not going to likely go much lower. Now, right after that, these did work, and these will give out fresh plays for RicoCap AI. We are still on a downtrend. Everything looks good. It gave some fresh plays, and a lot of these did work, which was not bad at all. Google as well. We ended up playing that. That went pretty fast. Amazon as well. Apple as well. A lot of these worked very fast. Now, first 30 minutes, again, still very bearish as things were still holding down. Like I said, that 30 minutes of us holding down before buyers really stepped in, that kind of let us know, hey, things are still bearish. Let's just see what happens, right? And then from there, you're going to see, RicoCap AI might take profit on some quick swings or longer date swings, as things are happening. And of course, it took profit on those puts as we pulled down. So over 54% right there, which is not bad on an overnight swing. And it was pretty much cashing out before things, buyers started stepping in. And then when buyers stepped in, IWM calls definitely is one of them. SPY calls started working, QQ calls. They all started firing off once buyers stepped in, and we started getting that, move up right there. So I knew to be careful in the morning session, not to jump in anything too crazy with SPY and QQ, and just kind of wait for this move. And, we actually, nailed that. And then, of course, it gives you an update on all of its midday plays, stuff like that. And actually, really good midday, GEX alerts, tells you, again, call walls, support resistance, how we're kind of approaching it, things like that. Midday plays, of course, final hour. And then gives you, of course, more weakness as Amazon is still really weak, Google really weak, end of close there, which is beautiful. Now, one thing I want to go over is some of the swing trades, right? We capitalized off two major swing trades these past week here. And it was, one of them was Microsoft and the other one was NVIDIA. Now we can go into that here. Here we go. Here was the, NVIDIA was the second one, but at close there, right before closing new NVIDIA, was making a 10-day low. We ended up going some puts on that. And it kind of just told you the 195 put. It went 21 days out. I didn't want to go that far out. I knew what the move I was looking for was going to be kind of overnight. So I ended up going, let's see, it was the NVIDIA here. The NVIDIA, there we go. 195, same strike, a little bit closer, just a few days out, went 320. We got a decent little move, in the close, and that was kind of what I was looking for. And into the next day, it ended up opening up at 465, went like 500. So from 300 a contract to 500, not a bad move at all for an overnight swing. And then the major winner though was Microsoft, and RicoCap AI helped us with that. As we're kind of looking at that here, I'm going to be looking at, let's see, and I was already eyeing this because I already posted this in the high conviction channel right here of the Microsoft setup. And that's exactly what, I was really, really looking for here. As you can see, take profit. RicoCap AI will tell you when it's taking profit. It called out a banger. Apple put swing 200%, 300% max reach. There's the Microsoft put, it went to 375. I ended up going to 360. And again, this was a major, major win for us. As you can see that we ended up, going over, I got it for 240. I know members got around that time because the moment I entered, it started increasing. The next morning it opened up 700, and it just kept going down. And, this went over $1,000 a contract. So again, it was a major win for us following RicoCap AI. And all that is you're looking for, I would say, midday if it calls out anything for a swing, or if it's end of day and after close, it kind of tells you, hey, trend continuation downward for Nvidia. Price action signal was 206 here, and if we look at Nvidia, when Nvidia closed at 192 at low, at the end of the week, 206 was all the way up here before it gapped down, right? It just straight gapped down, and just kept going down. So this was early in the week, as and again, this was a very good play. It was pressing Nvidia on the move down. Microsoft really killed it. This moved a big amount for Microsoft to sell off that much and to get 100% on a 22-day expiration. Absolutely crazy, right? 115%. It gained over $1,000, almost $1,100 a contract. Just crazy. It tells you what to do. Take 25-30% off the table, move your stop to break even. On the rest, I would say move it up, or just trailing. Underlying is 419. Trail as trend extends down, and this is really good stuff. So these are powerful tools to kind of help you make money with me and how some of these plays come about. I do use RicoCap AI all the time. It helps me win a lot anytime I don't have any type of clue on kind of what's happening. I always lean on RicoCap AI, and that really helps out a lot. You can see end of day there that it called out Google. Look at this knife on Google. So bearish breakdown, 10-day low for Google. So we know that. We saw this on Friday. Monday we can come in and we can look to kind of keep pressing Google as it's very weak. But bearish breakdown there, and you can see that it just knifed from level to level, 343 all the way down to 334. So pretty massive move there. So pretty cool stuff. More features, more things are coming. A lot of newer features will be dropping, and some of them will be only for lifetime members. So if you want to get access to full access to that, consider signing up for lifetime membership. Let me know if you have any questions. Some of those features do include that autopilot investing, where RicoCap AI will be in the control seat of buying some of these contracts for your portfolio. You sign off on it, right? Once the alert comes up, you either yes it or no it as far as the play that you want, right? If it's saying, hey, we're looking to take Microsoft puts here, you can be like yes or no, or hey, we're taking Google puts, you can be like no, or yes. Again, cool features coming, so stay tuned. These will be happening a little bit more towards the end of the year, as I have built-in learning software with RicoCap AI, and it keeps getting better and better with these plays. So that's my number one priority, just kind of getting these plays down. And then once it has such a strong track record, which is already building such a strong track record, we can be able to absolutely just kind of let it do its thing, kind of go from there. So awesome stuff, guys. All right, appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.